Once upon a time in a village there lived a very greedy husband and wife. The husband and wife are very compatible because they are of the same mind. The forest boss name is Utong, his wife's name is Dao Thong. Forest rich man Utong owns many acres of land. The forest boss Utong asked his farm tenants to go to the fields at dawn and plow his fields with his cattle. After sending lunch from Utong, I had to come up from the farm and have lunch. The rice delivery man was Utong's confidant, so his relatives were afraid. After eating, they had to rest for a while before going back to the fields to work. Boss, I can't go to the farm today because I'm sick. I got it, I have to cut wages for today. Forest rich man Utong and his wife lend money to farmers at high interest rates. Those who could not repay the money had to harvest rice at half the regular wage. When Utong's fields are harvested, sheaves are not left in the fields for fear of thieves stealing them. He was asked to carry ox carts and bundles of sheaves and was pictured in his farm. When Utong paid his rent to the farmers, he weighed the rice with the basket that was not full. Although the tenant farmers know, they are keeping their heads down for fear that they won't be given work next year. In that village, there was a young man named Mong Tama who was kind to everyone. Mong Tama knew that Utong was exploiting poor tenant families, so he was not satisfied at all. I am always thinking about educating and disciplining Utong. Let's repent of this old man's greed. It has to be done, said Mong Tama after meeting his tenants. All the family during their free time. Harvest time in the field without being free. He encouraged them to try and pick up the grains of rice that were left behind when they were pruned. The poor families in the village, led by Mong Tama, go to the fields in the morning and gather gleanings. At noon, they returned to the village to eat. They collected the rice that could be harvested at Mong Tama's house. Then, according to the forest custom, they pounded it, and divided the rice equally among the families. They cut and cleared the fen forest not far from the village, and made it into farm plots. In the pasture, the farm owners of the whole village picked up the cow dung left by the cattle and spread it in the fields created by their tenants. As soon as it rains, people in their fields. I split the plow with strength. Poor farmers. They don't have any cattle. Mong Tama is his friend from another village. Borrowed rice from others for a while and planted it. Since the village farmers who used to rent from Utong do not rent anymore, Utong has to hire tenants from other villages. Knowing about Utong's unfair treatment, the tenants from other villages also left without continuing. The fields are not all plowed yet. If he doesn't get a rental, it will be late to plant. Before Utong's fields have been planted. The farm of Mong Tama and his neighbors has been cultivated. The rice that we collected all summer long is shared by the family. Mong Tama let his tenants grow all kinds of vegetables themselves and go to town to sell them. Let them share everything they sell. Utong hired a farmer from him. He called those who had done it and said, I will pay more rent. My fields have not been planted yet. I don't want to pay rent to those who give me baskets that are not full. We do not rent, but if we produce rice from the fields we collectively own, the ratio will be reduced. If this year's rice is harvested, it will become everyone's cows and carts. It doesn't matter how much you pay. I was wrong. I apologize to you guys. Mong Tama, listen to your people. Time will pass without planting my fields. Unfair to the workers. Are you going to force me? I am not forced to work unfairly. There is no more greed. Then it's good, led by Mong Tama and all his followers. They cultivate Utong's fields. Mong Tama and his tenants had to harvest the rice first. Utong's field was harvested later. Cultivating a collective farm in Utong's farm, they work together as a group, so family life is comfortable and everyone is happy.